Welcome to Conversations with Verdel Jones. We are about empowering your passion with purpose, turning your passion into action, living with intention, and making an impact. I'm your host, Verdel Jones, and I am so thrilled that you have joined us. This show is where we bring inspiring stories and practical advice and actionable insights to help you turn your passion into a reality. Whether you're looking to spark a new idea or find clarity on your own path, or learn from life-changing success stories, you're in the right place. So let's get started. So I am so excited today. We have Alicia Holmes. She is a financial educator and coach. She teaches women of color how to build a solid financial foundation through a holistic approach to building wealth, getting out of debt, which is so important, and becoming a confident investor. She is a first-generation cycle breaker, self-made millionaire, and empowering financial coach known as the Wealth Whisperer. So I am so excited to have you here. Yeah. This is a topic that we really need to dive into. What caught my attention was the self-made millionaire part. So we really need to talk. So you receive a lot of positive feedback from your clients, and a lot of them stress the importance of them learning something and getting that knowledge, that education. So why is education, when we're talking about investing, key to how you work with your clients?
You know, there are just some time-tested ways that people have been using for generations in order to effectively manage your money, like be masterfully manage your money. And then, understanding like the fundamentals of investing is so accessible. And I do a lot of educating too. And then I work with, individuals, but I do a lot of educating. And like, these are the fundamentals. And it's so accessible. And people feel like, oh, investing is this scary thing. And it really is not. So one, the empowerment piece, having you understand the fundamentals. And then like, there are bigger games to play out here, and there's nothing stopping us from doing it. And so then getting folks comfortable, particularly women, playing a bigger game.
Right. And it's just not about saving accounts.
It's not it's not at all, actually.
Right. Where did this passion come from? Where did you get a passion for wanting to help women build a solid financial foundation and really thrive and invest in all of that? Where did that come from?
My personal experience, just a little bit about me, is that I'm like a first generation, one of the first in my very large family to go to college. And I hail from very humble beginnings, working class, more kind of like the working poor actually family. And I'm in college and I'm at an alumni event on campus, and we must have been talking about being rich. And one of the alumni kind of jokingly whispered in my ear, like dancing, so you want to be rich, you want to be wealthy.
Oh. Okay.
And I said, well, what's the difference?
Right.
And he said, if you're rich, you'll have money. But if you're wealthy, you have time.
Oh. I like that. If you're rich, you have money. If you're wealthy, you have time. Okay.
And so that started me on a journey. He was my mentor. Shifted paradigms completely. Wow. What it looks like not to have to exchange your time for money because you've invested, and also what it looks like to actually direct your resources to building wealth. He would say there's only two places that when resources come in, they're building someone else's wealth or they're building yours. Wow. And so I learned how to be in the wealth building game.
I love that. I love that. Wow, that's powerful. That really, and it was you had a mentor that kind of sparked, it was in a conversation that you had with someone.
Absolutely. And I was maybe about 19, 20, and this went on for about 8 or 9 months. I was curious. I was like, what is this? And so, yeah. So,
wow. So let's talk about, there's different, I mentioned a savings account. You got to have more than a savings account, people.
Right.
So we hear these terms and sometimes they can be very intimidating, like cryptocurrency and Bitcoin and blockchain and all of this stuff.
Right.
And it seems like it's intimidating and it's confusing. How do you break it down so people really know what these things are and not to be afraid of them?
So I'm so glad you said that. So one of the main things that I teach and to the ladies is to get curious before you get fearful. Curiosity costs nothing, but being fearful just shuts you down. A lot of times learning about these things, it's interesting and exciting. I have during COVID, I had a captive audience. I know, right? It's so many women. We read a book called The Future is Faster Than You Think.
Okay.
And I had 120 women coming on every week, learning about innovation, technology, the world. Many have changed their careers.
Wow.
And mature women, and really have gone down this path because it's so interesting and exciting. I want to make sure I answer your question, though.
Yeah, and I have a question about when you said mature women, because I have a question about that too, but go ahead.
Okay. So this whole thing about fear, that lives in a conversation. Actually, when someone once asked me, my mentor, I'm 19, 20, I don't know if I would have listened. I said, I was just really curious. And so the thing that I teach most in this very interesting world that we live in, driven by technological advancements and industrial revolutions and change, is to be curious.
Right. Yeah. And it does seem intimidating because you hear these things and a lot of people don't have that curiosity to look further, to see really what it's about. But they have someone like you that can help walk them through that.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. So you mentioned mature, right? So and as I was thinking and I was preparing to have a conversation with you, how old is too old and how young is too young?
When I tell you, I have women in their late 70s. I'm trying to think. There's someone who has been with me for a little while now is in her early 80s.
Wow.
Investing in crypto.
Wow. Right.
Powerfully and brilliant women. I would say one of the things I've noticed about my population is they're generally highly educated women. Most of them have bachelors, many have gone to masters, some of social work. And, a lot of times we're in the service fashion. They're mostly women of color, brilliant women. And I'm like, all of the things you've studied, as sharp as your mind is, this is not
you got this.
Absolutely.
So what are the challenges being in this industry? A Black woman being in this industry, what challenges have you faced? Because I'm assuming it would be a male-dominated type of industry. So what challenges have you faced?
So again, I've been I was literally in my late teens, early 20s when I got really interested in this, and everything that my mentor taught me about investing in real estate, investing in the stock market. It turns out that I was actually studying information systems in the business school. I was at Stern.
Okay.
And so I had an interest in technology. And so I really got interested in investing in tech. So here I am.
Wow.
This young Black woman, and I always look much younger, much younger.
Right, and you were young.
And I was young.
Right.
And then I must have looked 14. And I remember real estate, the gift that keeps giving. I started investing in real estate early too. And I would go to auctions and I'm 23 looking like a 14-year-old, only Black woman. And the room is just full of nobody looks like me. Wow. I remember I was with my fiance at the time and just, going to an auction, just being bold enough to step into the room and go into the auction and then looking for property let me just step back and say, I was working for a nonprofit, but with the information my mentor told me, I would save and invest every penny, and it was growing. And so I remember a real estate agent, I owned a building right now, and didn't want to show the building because I just looked like it didn't want to take us serious. And the building was in their portfolio.
Right.
But someone from another real estate agent he was just like a hustling dude too. And I remember he was part-time, but he's like, I'm going to show you everything.
Really?
And so she ended up having to give him part of the commit. She could have had the whole commission.
Right.
But yeah, so it's just like people you are not the person they expect to have.
Their expectation of you is something totally different.
Absolutely.
But that's where you get them.
No, it's so yeah, it's so true. So at some point though, I remember like it felt like everything was a struggle. Like the world wasn't like, come on in, you're so smart, you're working hard. Like, and it was starting to get in the way. And I remember doing some personal development work, like literally, and I'm just gonna name it because it changed my life. I did Landmark, and I did like Landmark Forum, and literally after dealing with my own stuff on the inside, being worthy and all of those things. After that, it was kind of like, I describe it like the Matrix, like zeros and ones. And then it didn't matter what people thought or what was going on. As a matter of fact, when you walk through the world that way, there's something magical happens. Like people start to interact with you differently. Right. So yeah.
Yeah, it's a game changer.
It's game changer.
It really is a game changer. Having that, it's that confidence to be able to know that you do belong in this space and just as anybody else.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it's definitely that confidence. And I love the self-work.
Yes, I did a lot. I love that. And I continue to coaching programs. I'm always doing some kind of developmental work.
And I love that. Let's talk a little bit about stocks.
Okay.
So the movie Forrest Gump, he bought Apple stock back in the day. And then what ended up happening, he, the whole movie happenstance, these things happen too. He ended up being a millionaire because he bought Apple stock when it was the time to buy it. So what...
I did the same thing.
See?
I bought Apple stock when it was less than $5.
Right.
I bought Amazon, like this is before all these stock splits, like in the early, like in the 90s. Okay. Sometime when it was like $30. So I literally, so I've invested in two things, real estate and tech.
Real estate. So what are the industries that people should look at to invest in as far as stocks are concerned?
Okay. So when I teach the fundamentals of investing in stock, like literally, I work with thousands of women at this point. And when I look at their retirement accounts, they're in low risk, safe that are just not growing at all. And so my mentor taught me about the S&P 500, about the index and index funds. Just teaching women about index funds alone has had a tremendous, they were leaving hundreds of thousands of dollars on the table in their retirement accounts. I showed numerically just by not understanding what an index fund is. And I have a great testimonial from a brilliant woman. Her and her husband raised a great family, well-educated, brownstone in Brooklyn, just amazing. And she took a masterclass, investing masterclass where I teach this. And she got on the phone immediately because I showed her what the S&P 500, how money grows, compounding. This is what I teach.
Right.
And she literally called she had a couple of places she had worked, retirement accounts.
Right.
In one quarter, she 7x'd some of her returns.
What does that mean, 7x? What does that mean?
7 times.
Oh, okay. 7x. Oh, God. I thought that was, I didn't know. I thought that was like a Bitcoin thing. I had no idea. Okay.
And 5 times. Right. So what this looks like is, let's say your earnings from, she was in her 70s. That's what I'm saying. And she was actually in retirement, took my investing masterclass, called and looked at how low her return on investment, her interest rates was, moved to some index funds, the S&P 500, the Qs, some things I talk about, like, and confronted her, the people managing her accounts. And so this is what it looks like. Let's say you're making $2,000. I don't have her exact numbers. Right. You're making $2,000 a month. That's what you're able to take out. an earnings from your retirement account.
Wow.
She 7x'd it. So so I love numbers. So so let's say you're at she was in a quarter. It was quarterly. She had quarterly. So let's say you used to get $2,000 a month. That's $6,000. Yes. But then when you 7x it, you're getting 6 times 7. You're getting 42,000. So the difference it made from her just understanding a very fundamental difference.
Like you said, this is the foundation, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Wow. Just kind of changed her life in retirement.
Right.
In retirement. She's doing amazing.
I'm sure
she started a business, doing herbal stuff.
And she's in her 70s.
And she's in her 70s.
Look at that.
Yeah. So so you talked about the stock market.
Right.
And low-hanging fruit. Just understanding that we live in a capitalist society.
Yeah.
There's a stock market. It goes up over time. One of the basic ways to invest in just the market in general is in an index fund like the S&P 500. Literally, that alone is a good thing to know. So if you want to go beyond that,
yes,
then I talk about looking at different sectors.
Okay.
And so tech is a sector that I'm really interested in. There are people who are in the sciences. And so I'm like, if you're in the sciences, you probably biotech is, you have more access and understanding. And so looking at biotech, and I did do that a little bit. People have different interests.
So you kind of lean into something that you might be interested in because of that understanding.
Because of that understanding. Okay. And then there is, if you want to learn some, I didn't realize back then, but I'm a futurist. I love thinking about the future and where things are going. That's why I was so excited about the Apple computer and those kinds of things. And so investing in innovation in the future and paying attention to that and just even if you just put a small amount on your portfolio, the growth is usually exponential beyond your wildest imagination.
That right there is wonderful information that people do not have access to, right? So you are going to have a upcoming Journey to Wealth 4-week bootcamp in February. Yes. Can you tell people about that?
Okay. So this is where I really teach the roadmap to building wealth. And it literally is the first thing I learned from my mentor is that you cannot hit a target you cannot define, and you accomplish what you measure. And so I was introduced to net worth. That's when you take everything you own, you subtract what you owe, and that bottom line is your net worth. Right. Now, you notice you didn't hear anything about income because we know our income can go up and up, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we're building wealth. True. But net worth is the measure of building wealth. So instead of focusing on how much money am I making, how much revenue is my business making, looking at how is my net worth growing over time is a game changer. So one of the first things I do is I teach, if you want to be in a wealth building game, measure your net worth, understand what it is. It's assets minus liabilities. And then the second thing is we all have resources coming into our lives. There's so much I could say about this, directing them into purchasing assets that grow, and so again, you're either building someone else's wealth or building your own. Right. And so I was in the asset accumulation game, being very intentional when resources came into my life to be purchasing assets. And so I some time tested, setting up a zero-based budget, being intentional about directing your resources towards investing in things that will grow over time. And I teach you about what are those things that low-hanging fruit, right? From investing in the market to investing in sectors, to investing in technology, to investing in real estate. And then I wrap it up with whatever is most pertinent at that time. And that has been cryptocurrency since 2017. Right. I've been teaching about investing with cryptocurrency.
About that. And I'm like, wow, it's been around. It's been around.
So we're in what I would call, and many call, the fifth industrial revolution. And it's like the future is, the world is shifting under our feet.
Rapidly.
And so the future of money is shifting, the future of education, the future of healthcare, all of these things are shifting. So right now, when you look at how the future of money is shifting, I say that the technology that powers cryptocurrency is the blockchain. And I like to compare it to the internet.
Okay.
The same way the internet has forever changed the way we access and exchange information, the blockchain is going to shift and change the way we transact with each other.
Monetarily or just?
Monetarily.
Okay.
The way we transact monetarily with each other. And so I passionately feel like we cannot sit on the sidelines because we're in a point in history right now that there is a mass adoption of cryptocurrency by the top financial institutions in this country and of the world.
So you need to watch that and be mindful.
Yeah. So understand that the 11 of the top traditional financial institutions, everything from BlackRock, what BlackRock does, pretty much all of the other financial institutions do, Fidelity, Invesco, all in 2023 is when I learned about the fact that they all applied for a Bitcoin ETF. So now you can hold Bitcoin currently in your retirement account, in any investment account, the way you would stock. So this was passed in January of 2024. So many people aren't even aware of it.
No.
And literally, when these ETFs were approved by the SEC, I believe, this is the best, these are the best performing ETFs in history, the Bitcoin ETFs.
And what is an ETF? Just
ETF is an exchange traded fund.
Got it.
It's a mutual fund that you can trade like a stock.
Got it. Okay.
And so you can hold it in any portfolio that you would hold a stock in. So when you see the top traditional financial institutions now having a Bitcoin product that you can actually trade like a stock, hold in your portfolio and hold in your retirement account, you know that it is widespread acceptance. And you want to get in early and invest in the game early. And I want to say about this ETF, there have been many exchange traded funds over time. The Bitcoin ETF hit 1 billion. It's something like 47 days. The last fund that broke the record, it took 600 and something days for it to hit 1 billion. So this is telling you the appetite that the market has for cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
And so I just want everyone to make sure that you understand what is happening in the world right now. BlackRock, which is the top asset manager in the world, JP Morgan Chase, which is the top bank in the world, both have products that they're building. They have built on the blockchain using the Ethereum network, which is a cryptocurrency.
Okay.
And they're talking about the future of traditional finance is tokenization on the blockchain, which is cryptocurrency.
Okay.
This is where we are right now. So when you invest in industrial revolutions early, you build life-changing wealth.
Wow.
I know I invested in Apple early,
Right.
Amazon early. I couldn't even believe what was happening.
That's unbelievable.
And what's happening now, Bitcoin is now at over 100K. I think it was at 106K today. One Bitcoin.
Goodness. One.
In 2017, I was talking to having people invest in it when it was around $900 to $1,200, even $800.
Wow.
An asset that goes from $800.
Right. In 2017.
Yes.
To 106K.
106K was today. And this is just the beginning. So please, 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 I just want communities that don't usually don't know and don't usually play in this game.
Yeah.
Take the time to do your research and understand this powerful new world. Just like the internet has changed everything, the blockchain, I promise you, the end of next year will not look like this year.
Right.
Right.
Wow. Thank you for that. That really clarified it. I'm still confused about how it all works, but at least I know that this is something that I need to know about and do some research on.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And, I say to people, when the internet came out, did you know how it worked?
No.
I mean, I actually spent the time to learn how it worked.
I just used it. There was a couple of things that I knew, little things about it, but it's the same kind of concept.
So if you want to, it's powerful to know how it works.
Yeah.
But you don't have to know how it works to understand, to see the impact that it would have.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes.
But you should understand what
I should understand. Yeah. Right. Exactly.
I mean, people should understand.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You need to, knowledge is power. So you need to have that. So, so thank you for that. So how can people get in touch with you or stay in touch with you if they would like to attend this boot camp? Let them know.
Okay. So you can reach me at journeytowealth.net. That's journey, T-O, wealth.net. You can find me on Instagram as the Alicia Holmes, and I'm also on LinkedIn.
All right. Okay. Thank you. And if people, when can people sign up directly on your website for this boot camp?
They can sign up on the boot camp. And I have a special, like $50 off if you use the code WEALTH.
Oh, there you go. Alicia, it has been such a pleasure chatting with you. I know I learned a lot and can't wait to learn more. So thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Conversations with Verdel Jones, empowering your passion with purpose. I hope today's conversation left you inspired, informed, and ready to take action toward your goals. If today's episode sparks something in you, please do not keep it to yourself. Make sure you share it. And don't forget to subscribe, comment, like, and follow us on social media so you will not miss an episode. And remember, in the words of Maya Angelou, when you learn, teach, and when you get, give. Until next time, stay inspired, stay purposeful, and keep turning your passion into reality. See you next time.